Also for that, so?
Yeah, guys, so if you look at most houses in Amsterdam, let's say these houses on the right, or those houses on the right, you can see that they're not particularly big. They're actually pretty narrow. That's because back in the day, the wider your house, the more tax you had to pay. That's why most houses in Amsterdam are built on a narrow and long plot. But if you have a narrow house, you do want to use your space as efficiently as possible. So for that reason, the staircases in these houses are also very narrow, but also super steep. So bringing something big up into the house through the staircases, that's kind of difficult. So that's why all houses in Amsterdam have a hoisting beam sticking out. You can still see them here in the Canal or any other old house. So if we need to get something big into the house, we just attach a wheel and a rope to the hook. We lift it up from the outside, and then on the inside we can open the windows on every single floor, and that's how we get everything into the house. And I say get because we still use them up till today. And if it's a windy day, it can be tricky as well, because if things start to sway in the wind, they can actually break their windows or the thing that they're hoisting up. And this also happened in the past, so that's why they decided back in the days to build houses leaning forward a little bit. So if you see houses that are actually leaning to the front, this is done on purpose, because then you have a little bit more room to lift up your stuff. Houses leaning to the left and to the right, however, these were houses with foundational problems, because the houses, the bridges, the streets, all the structures in Amsterdam are built on wooden poles basically, but sometimes these poles would rot, and that's when houses started to sink. Now they don't sink any further because we stabilize these houses by injecting concrete underneath them. We reinforce old walls, so it's completely safe nowadays, but back in the day, houses could actually collapse. So guys, what do you think of all the bicycles in Amsterdam? Did you get hit by a bike already? Nobody? Okay, yeah, close. Many close encounters. But it's going to happen for real as well, guys, because traffic in Amsterdam can be a challenge with all these bicycles. You know, local people, Amsterdammers, we are very easygoing, but the moment we step on our bike, everything changes and we turn into these maniacs, and we want to go from A to B as fast as possible, and we don't stop for nothing. We don't stop for cars, we don't stop for traffic lights, and we sure do not stop for you guys, because tourists, you seem to be all over the place all of the time. So stay away from the bicycle lane. That's usually the red lane. It's painted with the blood of the tourist. But bicycle theft is also a big problem. Over 60,000 bicycles get stolen every single year. So if your bike gets stolen, you need a new one. So what do? You go to this square right here. This is Waterloo Square. During the day there is a big flea market going on, but this is also the square where Mikey Bikey operates from. Now Mikey Bikey, guys, he sells second-hand bikes, if you know what I mean. So if your bike gets stolen, you go talk to Mikey Bikey, but sometimes it actually happens that it's your bike he's selling. And if you can prove to him that it's your bike he's selling, you know, with a picture or something like that, he is willing to give you a 50% discount. dates back all the way to the year 1275. Because in that year, Amsterdam got its toll privileges by Count Floris V. And this basically meant that if you wanted to do some business in this area, you needed to pay a little fee to the village. And since this document was issued in the year 1275, we consider that year the official birth year of Amsterdam. So if you're real quick with numbers, then you know that next year we're going to celebrate our 750th birthday. Now, of course, back in the day, Amsterdam didn't look anything like it does today. It actually started off as a small fishing village in the early days, but over the centuries, Amsterdam grew bigger and bigger and turned into this big international trading city. And especially in the 17th century, Amsterdam pretty much exploded when we founded the United East India Company. Maybe you heard about this company. It made Amsterdam super rich, and the core business of this company is what it did basically was sail their beautiful sailing ships all the way to the other side of the world, to countries like Indonesia, for example. And that's where we would do a lot of robbing, stealing, and killing. Basically, we would take a lot of stuff back with us to the Netherlands, in particular spices, and sell these spices all across. Expression in the Netherlands, when we refer to something expensive, we still say something is peperduur, or pepper expensive. Dates back to those days.
There's the ice mark. Right there where the blue was on the wall.
Yeah, the blue it's like below zero.
When you go in, you have to wear a coat. Yeah, different flavors of vodka or mixed drinks.
It's good. It tastes like
But it's quick.
injected
Boom,
with
boom, boom, boom. Go in. Drink.
two drinks.
Drink.
Yeah, 3 drinks.
Very soon. Now the skinny bridge is called the skinny bridge because of its width. It's very narrow, hence the name skinny bridge, but nowadays this bridge is actually more often referred to as the love bridge. And I'll tell you why. Because back in the day, the original bridge was even more narrow than this one. It was actually so narrow, in order to get from one side to the other, if you came across another person in the middle, you basically had to hug the other person to get to the other side. So according to the stories, there were young guys waiting for beautiful young women to pass the bridge, and once they would spot one, they would quickly go to the middle, you know, and help the lovely lady to the other side. So there was a lot of flirting going on, many romances on this bridge, and that's why the legend of Amsterdam says that if you're on a boat, guys, with your loved one going underneath the skinny bridge, or if you're on a boat with your loved one making a U-turn right in front of it, you know, what a coincidence. They say that if you kiss each other right there and then, your love will last forever. Yeah. But forever is a very long time, so if you feel more comfortable, you can also kiss your telephone or your credit card, or kiss yourself, you know, give yourself a big hug, because the greatest love of all is self-love after all, so you can also love yourself. Not too explicit though, in this moment in time. So if it's safe, I'm gonna turn the boat around and we should be good. As usual, I will kiss my one and only love, and that's my precious can of sparkling water, but do what you need to do.
Inside that ice mark. Go on the bridge. There's pirates in the
And we do really call this the love bridge, guys. A lot of proposals happen on the bridge. People get married on boats. They say yes to each other under the bridge. So this was actually a true story. Not everything I tell you guys is a lie.
Oh, ja, oké.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Kijk even achter toon.
Yeah, so in the 17th century, Amsterdam had a lot of sailors, but being a sailor back in those days was a very dangerous job. 30% of the boats did not make it back, so a lot of sailors did not return, and for that reason, a lot of women were left behind. Now, the 70% of the sailors who did make it back in the end, they became very wealthy, and they built this building right here. This is a museum nowadays, but back in the day it was a house for widows. If they had children, the kids were welcome here, but also elderly women were taken care of in this facility right here. The last resident only left in 2007, where it was already a museum, so that very recently. You could actually say this was our first social security system. Anyways, guys, I don't know what was going on at the Skinny Bridge, but I don't think anybody was kissing. At least I didn't see it or hear it, you know. I don't know why. Maybe you're shy kissing in public, or maybe this morning was super juicy already, or maybe you're just a little bit more like me, you know. Loving each other forever is just too much of a commitment, so I also understand. Fortunately, there is a second option, and that is this bridge here on the right hand side. As you can see, it looks very similar to the Skinny Bridge, but it is a lot shorter, so your commitment is also a lot shorter, and therefore we call this one the Tinder Bridge. If you kiss each other on or under the Tinder Bridge, your love will only last for 24 hours. It's my personal favorite. And if you feel 24 hours is still too much, which is of course possible, there is actually a third and last option, and that will be 10 minutes of unconditional love in the red light district. these canals were man-made. They were dug by hand and shovel. It took them a few years. We also did not make them any deeper as necessary. It's a bit deeper though. 2 meters, 8 feet. It's very close. It's just 3 meters or 10 feet deep. So you're pretty close. Some people say 13 meters. But anyways, it's just 3 meters deep, and it's 1 meter of mud, 1 meter of water, and in between 1 meter of bicycles. And that's actually not such a big deal, guys, because every single year, on average, 10 to 15,000 bicycles are used. And the reason why they end up in the canal in the first place is because people throw them in and kick them in. That's by far the number one reason. But we also know